Alan Gardner with the New York Flyers, one of the biggest running clubs in New York City. I'm here this morning with Denise Castelli. Denise is with the Challenge Athletes Foundation. She's an ambassador of that organization. I'm running the Boston Marathon this year on behalf of Challenge Athletes and raising funds for them. And we're going to get around to how she came to be an ambassador, but she's always been an athlete, and so I want to start her story with how she was an athlete in the first place.
Well, my entire life I was a softball player, and I had this goal from very early on that I wanted to play in college, and I worked hard my whole life, all through high school, and then landed a scholarship, and I played for the University of New Haven in Connecticut as a center fielder. My senior year, I had a very unfortunate accident during one of my final games. I was sliding into second base and I broke my leg. Unfortunately, it doesn't end there. I ended up having a horrible infection, and after trying to combat it, I was in the hospital for a year and a half, multiple surgeries. There was nothing more they could do, so they had to amputate my leg completely.
Well, I heard this story when I first spoke to Denise, and it was unfathomable to me. It turned out we have a lot in common. Denise loved softball from an early age. All I ever wanted to be was a baseball player from the age of 3, 4. So the notion that that could happen playing in a baseball game, I just found hard to digest. But tell me what happened in your recovery, and what your thoughts were about your future as an athlete, you thought you had one, and what ended up happening.
To be honest, laying in that hospital room, I thought my career in life as an athlete was over. And I tried lying to myself and telling myself, it's okay. You played at the pinnacle of what you could have as a softball player. Like, you played in college, and that's okay if you're not an athlete anymore. For a huge chunk of your life you were. And I tried lying to myself, and it really didn't sit right with me. The more I said it, the weirder it sounded, because being an athlete was such a huge part of my identity. And I felt like when I lost my leg, it was stripped away from me. Now, all of a sudden, my identity mentally was, you're disabled, and you're crippled, and you're handicapped, and those were words I never, ever would have used to describe myself. So I really, regardless of what happened, I was not ready to use those words to describe me now and then later in life. It was just something inside of me that was saying, you won't be defeated. You will do this, even if you don't know how yet. Like, the stepping stones weren't there yet. I knew I had to.
How long, what happened at that clinic, and how long was it after the clinic that you got the carpal?
Well, when I was at the clinic, there was a lot of people there that didn't have these legs, and it's really great. What they do is they break you down into 3 groups, and they have children's, beginner, and then advanced. So I was in the beginner group, where people that have never really run before, and they're just trying to come out and get active, and most people in that group have legs like me at the time, walking legs. So they give you a partner there to help you, and they put a harness around you actually. So they would pull on the back of the harness, so if you start to tip, they could pull you back up. So they gave Bob Daly, who was the person that was giving all the instructions at the clinic, and he had us do some drills, and then finally got to the point where he's like, okay, why don't you guys put it all together and run. I took off, started running, and I ran so fast that the girl that was supposed to be holding my harness had to let go, otherwise I would have been dragging her behind me. And my parents were just crying. It was really emotional because, that was the light switch. So, Alan, I know you're running the Boston Marathon this year for Challenge Athletes Foundation. Why don't you tell me how you became a runner? Because I know you've spoken, you were a baseball player, basketball player, so how did you kind of transition and get into endurance?
That's actually a perfect question. It's a totally perfect question. I played baseball and basketball my whole life competitively, and it was probably about 1998. I lived on the Upper West Side, just a little north of here, and I went into Central Park during the New York City Marathon. And I went to about mile 24 inside the park on East Drive, and I was watching, and it was late in the race, probably 5.5 hours in, and I saw runners of all different capabilities, men, women, young, old, middle-aged, and I then saw a guy in a wheelchair on a little bit of an incline pass an able-bodied, albeit slower runner, but the guy in the wheelchair passed him, and I thought, that was amazing. I said, I've got to do this race. This guy can do that. The people who really are to be recognized are the athletes like Denise. People who just say no to giving up on what they really want to do and find a way to make it happen, even if it's a little different than what they were doing before. And Denise has done that in a huge way. Contributes to a lot of other people who do that, who are in the same realms, had amputations and trying to figure out what to do. So all the credit in the world goes to Denise and folks like her. I'm just kind of, window dressing, trying to help out. And I do have to say this at the end. First, I want to thank Challenge athletes for getting a slot for me and giving me the opportunity to support them. It's my honor to do that. And I have to second Denise and thank people who have provided support so far, and hoping people will be able to provide more support. They can go to the Challenge Athletes Foundation.org website and look for me as a participating sponsor. And if you want to make a contribution, no amount is too small. But most importantly, I thank the Challenge Athletes for giving me the opportunity, and Denise for coming in today to make this interview possible. We're now going to go to the training room, which will warm us up because we're really cold. and whoever watched this video,